Hello, Maddie here. I am back with a book, like I say a lot. This week we're talking about The Blue Castle by L.M. Montgomery. Anyways, we're talking about The Blue Castle for a few reasons. One, this week's video is going to be very short because I was sick on Sunday, and this week I've been staying late at work to help decorate our department for Halloween because there's a Halloween contest, and the department that wins gets to have lunch with the CEO. So, I've spent my last 2 days staying late to decorate, and I am doing laundry and packing and everything for a trip that we leave on Thursday. So, I have to film, edit, and post all tonight. So, short video. Look at how small this book is. I'm pretty sure it's under 200 pages. It is 143 pages. It is deeply deceitful. I don't have a specific number for you. But the amount of hours it took me to read this book, a typical 143-page book would take me about 2.5 hours max. Might even be less than that because a book that short usually is not that deep, and so it usually is really easy to get through. So probably less than 2 hours, to be perfectly honest. This book, one, tiniest of font that goes like all the way to the edge of the page, and because it's so short, you have to read every single word. But my version of reading is I'm often scanning. I'm really bad about starting reading at the top of the page and like scanning and reading the bottom of the page and having to go back and reread what I've skipped because my brain is just like, you can figure it out. And obviously half the time I can't. I'm like, no, you needed to read that. This book, you cannot skip. Every word matters. The story, it's so funny because for such a short book, you'd be like, oh, I bet it moves super fast and like gets you through stuff. But it doesn't feel like that because it takes place over like 6 months or a year, something like that. And it doesn't feel rushed. There's so much that goes on. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's about this girl. Her name is Valency. I don't even know you could like name a person that. But she has a nickname. I know she does. Oh, she has a nickname she doesn't like. Doss. Her family calls her Doss. How she got that nickname, I don't know. If it's explained, I don't remember. And she has come to the realization that she has never been happy. She has never lived a single moment of her entire life for herself. She gets a terminal diagnosis, and it's like, yeah, she has like half a year to a year to live, something like that. She's like, well, if I only have that long left to live, then I'm just going to do all the things I've been told not to because I want to experience joy and happiness before I die. And so she goes against her family, like totally and completely. To be fair, they're awful people. But she just completely goes against them and just does her own thing and finds her own way and stumbles upon the most beautiful people and ridiculous circumstances that lead to genuine bliss and happiness and the realization that you don't have to settle for what people tell you you should be settling for. You don't have to stay in this job because it's a paycheck and it's not the worst thing. It's good enough. You don't have to settle for good enough. You should be happy. You should be excited, whether that be work or, friends, family, romance, how you're spending your time, your days. And not every single moment's going to be like the most joyful moment of your life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the staples of your life, the things that you do constantly and consistently should be the things that bring you joy and happiness the most. With the exception of like eating, because eating is the worst. It takes up so much time and energy and is so expensive. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. There are very few things in this world that made me like excited to eat. And it's just a chore. But that's fine because, bodies need it and stuff. That being the exception in my life, at least, you don't have to settle. And that's what she's realizing is that she does not have to live the drab, gray, brown, life. She doesn't have to. Just because there are all these people around her telling her that she is bland and boring and stable and that she shouldn't, mix anything up. She should not break the status quo. She should not pull away from the social norms that they have created. Like, literally, who are they to rule her life? So Valency says, yeah, screw that. I'm going to do what I want. And she does. And it's awesome. And she is so cool and absolutely amazing. And part of what I love is as the book progresses, one of the things I did not believe until I got older, and I still struggle with, because we all struggle with, in terms of like self-image and like how you appear to the world in terms of beauty standards. Honestly, I've gotten to a point where, for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, when people are like, oh, does this look good or whatever, I'm like, how does it make you feel? Because that's what really matters. Like, I'm not the one that's wearing it. I'm not the one that has to feel how I feel in it. You are. So how do you feel in it? And she kind of steps into that until like she feels bland and drab, and she's been told all that her life, but she steps into what she actually wants to be doing, the clothes she actually wants to be wearing. And in that, she gains confidence and also like a calm and a peace within herself, knowing that she is just so massively content. And that physically shows itself, and that she does appear more beautiful. She's not like, wow, she's now the most beautiful person I've ever seen. But she's not bland and drab. She is full of life, and she is, glowing and happy and beautiful in her own right. And I love that, because it's not like she has this like crazy transformation. She doesn't do anything different in terms of like taking care of herself or like doing weird things. She doesn't do any of these crazy things to fit a beauty standard. She just steps into the life she actually wanted to be living and became comfortable in her own skin, comfortable in her own life, not just comfortable, but happy with it. She is joyful to wake up every single morning. She is joyful to roam around her island, her blue castle. Her blue castle is a thing she had created in her head when she was in her boring, drab life to escape, because her life was just so, it's not even just that it was meaningless, it was so void. It was just nothingness. And she created the blue castle to escape to console herself and to try to get through. And later on, in the house that she lives in, she calls it her blue castle because she's just so happy there. She doesn't need to escape from there. It is her escape because it is her everything. And I love that. I love that she chooses to leave the things that aren't worth her time behind and step into the things that are worth her time and the things that do make her happy. And I love seeing that transformation, that it's not just like in her head, but it's like, it's a physical transformation. You can see when people are like weighed down, and you can see when people are lighter and happier. You can tell. It makes a difference in just how they're viewed at any single moment. Does that make sense? If not, that's fine. You can comment about it or whatever. But that's the thing I think and believe. It's really hard to believe when you're younger because, image is just such a hard thing, especially for teenage girls. Secondly, if you don't fit the exact perfect beauty standards, it can be difficult in certain situations, circumstances, trying on certain clothes to feel beautiful and be like, I feel confident enough to wear this anyways, when really the whole time you will be just so self-conscious that you won't look beautiful in it because you won't feel beautiful in it. And why wear something that doesn't make you feel beautiful? That is The Blue Castle by Ellen Montgomery. I picked this book for a myriad of reasons. I always say myriad of reasons. Anyways, I picked this book for really only 2 reasons. One, it's a short book that I've written a blog about. Well, it's funny because it's a short book, like physically, but it takes you forever. I remember sitting in my car almost being late to something because I didn't want to get out of my car and stop reading. So it's a long read, but it's a short, small book. 2, it takes place in Canada and it's by Ellen Montgomery. I, in about a month, will be going to Canada to Prince Edward Island, which is where the Anne of Green Gables series takes place, which is also by L.M. Montgomery. Thinking of doing a video about it. The issue is here. Maybe y'all can give me your opinions on this because this would be helpful. I have not actually read the books. I know it's like heretical that I'm, wanting to do this. But not only have I seen basically every movie version there is to see, I'm also obsessed with Anne with an E. I know that they are not the same story. In my mind, I see Anne with an E as a derivative because the stories that are told, some of them happen in the books, a lot of them don't, and they introduce whole characters and whatever. My my thought process is it's a derivative. So it takes these characters, and I feel like it stays very true to the characters that are written. And that even though these are circumstances that were never written about in those books, the characters act consistently with how they would have been written. That makes sense? So like Anne, even though she does things that never happen in the book and experiences things that never happen in the books, she still is very much Anne. They didn't take these characters' names and make them entirely different people. They stayed very true to their characters. That's part of why I love it so much. I think it's really wonderful. I'm obsessed with it. I've watched it many times. Anyways, so I wanted to start with this book and then go into that. Because I'm such a book person, I felt kind of weird being like, let's talk about a TV show. But that's what's getting me there. But it's based on a book series that I haven't read. So we're feeling conflicted. The book nerd versus the talk about it anyways because it makes you excited. We're more on that side. Anyways, that's why I picked that. I hope this video wasn't too rushed or too crazy for you. Thank you for all just your patience with whatever I post. I forgot to say in my last video, but like, comment, and subscribe. All those things are really, really, really helpful. I really hope that you would share this with people because book nerds are everywhere. And I want to find more people that have read the books that I've read because I love all my people, but I talk to the same people about books because I need more people that have read my books. And I have books that other people haven't read. And so I need people to talk to about them. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you would take the time to leave a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. I hope you have all the wonderful things. And we're going to go into our outro. So, with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all of the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, bye. 再见。